In-laws came to our house for a vacation and spoke in Russian, so one day I recorded them. Hello, my name is Jane and I'm 42 years old. I never expected to have a story like this to share, but here it goes. Buckle up, folks, because it's going to be a wild ride. It was a sunny afternoon when my in-laws, Janet and Harry, arrived at our house for the long-awaited vacation. They had always talked about visiting Brazil, and I was more than happy to welcome them into our home. You see, since they lived in Russia, their home country, we didn't get to see each other often, but we cherished the little moments we had together during family gatherings. In our online communication, I always had the impression that things were great between us. But I was wrong. Unbeknownst to me at the time, my mother-in-law and father-in-law were hatching a wicked plan to belittle my daughter and me, and for a long time, I didn't notice a thing. Little did I know, their visit would unveil an underlying current of resentment and animosity hidden beneath their pleasant facade. Hello? How are you? I'm feeling good, Grandma. Hi, Grandpa. How was your flight? It was tiring. I need to take a nap. Not before you have a snack, of course. Oh, Jane, you spoil me. Hello, Mom. Hello, Dad. I'm glad to see you're doing well. Yes, my child. We made it. Thank God. Hey, speak in Portuguese. You too, Mom. We also want to be part of the conversation. Looking at this conversation, you would assume we're like any other big happy family. Trust me, I thought the same. See, if it wasn't obvious before, I married into a Russian family, embracing a new culture and language along with my husband Edward. Although I haven't mastered Russian fluently, I have been learning. Both me and my daughter Liza, but we kept it hidden and didn't tell anyone. I started seeing their true colors when my husband would go to work. Being a housewife, I spent most of my days at home taking care of our house and our family. With the arrival of my in-laws, I always made sure to be home most of the time so we could catch up. Liza had just finished her first year at university, and she was home for the summer, so that meant Liza and I could finally go out with our relatives. In short, I was looking forward to new and happy experiences. That time together, filled with games and laughter, and truly getting to know each other in the deepest sense. While that was true at the beginning of the vacation, as the days went by, I noticed a peculiar pattern emerging. Their conversations were now exclusively in Russian, deliberately excluding me and Liza. Liza and I tried to be polite, not addressing the issue out of respect. But one day, Liza spoke up. Mom, why are they always speaking in Russian now? Oh, my love, it's okay. That's the language they feel most comfortable with, so we have to be more accommodating. I understand that, but it's happening all the time now. I thought we would have a chance to go out with them and have a lot of fun together. We will, dear. Let's just give them time to adjust to America first. It must be a lot for them to handle. Okay. It will get better. I know it will. So Liza and I shrugged it off. And deep down, it's just a harmless peculiarity. But as the days turned into weeks and the conversations grew strained, whenever I entered the room, my heart would sink a little. Suspicions grew. It became clear that they were intentionally isolating us, deliberately keeping secrets in their private exchanges in Russian. Liza was also becoming increasingly curious about their behavior, getting offended because she really wanted to get to know her cool Russian grandparents. But what they were doing is extremely hard. In an attempt to bridge the gap and fill this apparent void that was forming, one day during the week, I suggested we play a game. The rules are very simple. We take turns telling each other two truths about ourselves, life stuff, and it's up to the rest of the group to decide which one is the lie. Oh, that sounds fun, and it would be a good way to get to know each other, I said. To our surprise, Janet and Harry weren't even excited to play this game. They seemed bored and slightly annoyed, sensing their discomfort and trying to be good hosts. I decided to drop the idea and ask what they would like to do instead. Would you like to have some tea and chat with my husband? Ah, okay. Is it alright if Mom and I join? No. Their outburst shocked us, but Liza quickly recovered. I mean, no, my dear, we just wanted to enjoy a quiet afternoon. Is that alright? You see, we are much older, and these types of games don't really appeal to us. But you two never talk to us. You're always speaking in Russian. You! How dare you speak to us like that? So disrespectful. Were you raised on a farm? How dare you talk to my daughter like that? She's a child. She just wants to hang out with you. But you're making it difficult. How can you say something so vile? Whatever. Come on, Harry. Harry and Janet stood up from the table and started speaking loudly in Russian, not attempting to hide their words. I couldn't understand exactly what they were saying, but from their demeanor, it wasn't rocket science or something very complex. But it determined what they were talking about concerning us, and it wasn't in a pleasant way. It seemed. I felt ashamed to tell Edward about what happened that day when he came back home in the evening, and I was afraid he wouldn't notice any tension at the dinner table when we all sat down to eat. But Liza and I were taken aback. Both Janet and Harry were conversing with us just fine, as if nothing had happened before. We were together as if we were one big happy family, but it didn't sit well with me and Liza. A few days later, driven by curiosity and a growing sense of betrayal, I decided to take matters into my own hands. While Janet and Harry were talking in the living room, as they often do, I discreetly grabbed my phone and pressed the record button. With trembling hands, I captured their voices and their words, hoping to uncover the truth hidden in their clandestine conversations. After successfully capturing what I needed, I started gaining confidence. One day turned into 2, then 3, then 4, and sure enough, I collected voice recordings of different conversations over the course of a week. I meticulously collected evidence, documenting their conversations whenever the opportunity arose. With only a somewhat childish understanding of the Russian language, I couldn't decipher exactly what they were saying, but as I tried to listen repeatedly, I realized some really rude words. In fact, I was afraid of what I would find if I translated everything correctly, but I knew I had to get to the bottom of this behavior. Fortunately for me, I had a friend who spoke Russian. Leonard had lived in Russia for a while and migrated to Brazil as a child. Although he was practically raised as a Brazilian, his immigrant parents always. They made sure she still spoke her native language, so he was the perfect candidate to help me decipher this information. One morning, I called him and told him to come over. As soon as he arrived, I brought him to the backyard so that Janet and Harry wouldn't see him. Leonard and I found a moment alone outside where we could discreetly talk. I poured my heart out to him, sharing the strange behaviors and my growing suspicions. Leonard was a pillar of support, assuring me that he would help me uncover the truth. From what you're telling me, it sounds like they're talking about some really shady stuff, you know? But don't worry, I'll do my best to help in any way I can. Thank you, my friend. You're a guardian angel. Just doing my job as a friend. As I played the audio for Leonard, his face turned pale, and he started trembling. Leonard, what's wrong? I can't breathe. Panic attack. He was gasping for air, and I was also getting scared. I never expected him to be so overwhelmed by what he was hearing. Fear also consumed me as I tried to calm him down, doing my best to provide the comfort he needed. In that moment, I rushed inside to get a glass of water and put it in the fridge. I had him lie down so he could calm down. I was soothing him slowly. Fortunately, I managed to help him regain composure without arousing suspicions from Janet and Harry, who were inside, probably gossiping. Liza, however, was close by. From the bedroom window, she heard the commotion. Worried, she rushed downstairs to check on us. I explained to her what had happened, sharing that I secretly recorded what the grandparents were saying, and whatever they were saying was so disturbing that it caused Leonard to have a panic attack. We were both horrified. Do you know what we could uncover when Leonard is ready to talk? Leonard fully recovered and was safely inside my room with Liza, apologizing for his reaction. Don't you dare apologize. You did nothing wrong. All that matters is that you're safe now. Don't worry, Harry and Janet didn't see you. They seem to have moved to the front lawn, making themselves comfortable in our garden. So, Liza and I were able to take him upstairs. You gave us quite a scare, Leonard, but I'm glad you're safe now. I probably should have warned you about my tendency for panic attacks and anxiety. But honestly, I didn't expect to hear such horrifying information bombarding my ears like that. Tell us, Leonard, what were they saying? Leonard took a deep breath and a big gulp of water, then began relaying what he heard in the recordings. Jane, Liza, there's no easy way to say this to you, so I'll do my best. It seems that Janet and Harry They want to sell Liza on the black market to some very sick and twisted individuals. Both Liza and I fell to the floor. We were completely stunned. What the hell? That's not all. They said they wanted to sell both of you, actually. Jane too, and they were joking about faking her death, saying that you had suffered a terrible car accident that turned into flames, so there's no evidence of their bodies. They said they would make a fortune from selling Liza because of her age. I think I'm going to be sick. They were so cold and insensitive about everything you love. They didn't care at all that they were going to sell you off to some twisted people. That's why I had a panic attack. I had never heard anyone be so frank about such a terrible crime. You two can take a break if you need to. It's a lot to handle. Why aren't you crying now? Aren't you feeling bad, Mom? Of course, I'm feeling bad. But right now, I'm just angry. They threatened to hurt you. In fact, I will never forgive them for that. They said much more distressing things, but I think, for the sake of all of us, I will spare us the details, at least for now. Leonard and Liza. We all felt extremely frightened and sick to our stomachs. We simply couldn't believe that we shared a house with criminals for the past month. Though I was scared, I was also fueled by unbridled rage. I wanted to go there and scream at them until their shriveled heads turned into raisins. I understand. Well, not really, I suppose, Jane. You're upset and rightfully so, as you should be, but there's no way you're going downstairs to expose what you know. What do you mean? They're threatening my daughter's life. I know. I just don't think it's smart for you to confront them now without a game plan. I mean, you live with these people. Who's to say they won't harm you in whatever way they see fit? You're right, my friend. You're absolutely right. We're in an advantage now because we know their plans. We can't give up that privilege so easily. So, what are we going to do? We're going to get out of here. What? Yes. Go pack your things. And lock the door too, just as a precaution. I'll be here doing the same. Leonard, please help her while I stay here and call Edward. We'll definitely be back here when you're done. As soon as they left the room, I started crying. I was so overwhelmed by what I had heard that I had to break down. But I was also relieved to uncover this information. I called Edward and told him everything. I told him how his parents had been treating us for the past month. I told him about the rude outbursts they had towards Liza after we offered to play. And of course, I told him about the recordings, as well as the translations provided by Leonard. Not that he needed them to translate anything for him, but to prepare him for what he would hear. I'm sure you'll understand exactly what they mean. Leonard didn't give too many details, but he told us enough to know that our safety is not guaranteed here. I'll take Liza to Leonard's house as soon as I finish packing, but I had to tell you everything I know. It must feel like I've dropped a bomb on your lap now, but you need to know the truth. Yes, it's a lot of information, I know. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about the other things earlier. I thought I could handle it. I knew. It broke my heart to find out that we weren't getting along the way you wanted. Let me listen to the audio, okay? And I'll call you back. With that, we ended the call and I started packing my things. all the while peeking through the window to see if the two monsters were still outside. When I finished packing, Leonard and Liza came back to my room. As I was finishing packing, I received a call from Edward. He was extremely upset and disturbed. I mean, who wouldn't be upon finding out their parents are criminals? He said we needed to leave the house immediately, and that Edward would meet us at Leonard's house. We all discreetly got into the car parked in the garage and sped away. Of course, Janet and Harry. I was leaving and they called me, but I didn't call back. As soon as we arrived at Leonard's house, I called the police and guided them to the house to arrest my mother-in-law and father-in-law. 45 minutes passed and Edward arrived at Leonard's house. We hugged and cried for hours, and all the while Leonard was giving us updates on the police operation. Well, the police arrested Janet and Harry. Edward revealed that before coming to Leonard's house, he stopped by the police station to submit the evidence I had digitally sent to him. Now that the police had all the evidence, it became much easier to handle the case. Although we wished to witness it, I'm sure the looks on Harry's face were a sight to behold. Janet and Harry would surely be caught off guard when the police stormed my house. Their faces must have been filled with shock and disbelief. They were quickly arrested and detained due to the seriousness of the crimes they were accused of. The once proud and manipulative couple was now stripped of their power and exposed as the criminals they truly were. The news of their arrest spread rapidly through the community, causing a stir and disbelief among our acquaintances and neighbors. It was truly distressing to know that such a dramatic and cinematic experience was happening. Simple people like us. The revelation of their involvement in human trafficking shocked the town, shattering the illusion of the respectable facade they had maintained for years, both in their home country and here. The legal proceedings that followed were arduous, with the prosecution presenting a strong case built upon the compelling evidence I had gathered against Janet and Harry during those weeks. Their actions were laid bare in the courtroom, leaving no doubt about their guilt. The jury, legitimately shocked by the audacity of their crimes, delivered a unanimous guilty verdict on multiple charges related to human trafficking and conspiracy. When the judge pronounced the verdict, the courtroom erupted in a mix of relief and satisfaction. Janet and Harry, once regarded with respect by Edward and Liza, may now face the consequences of their malicious actions. They have been sentenced to long prison terms and have also been tried. In Russia, which has stricter laws regarding such matters. In short, we would not be seeing these people for a long time, and due to their ages, they would likely spend the rest of their days rotting in prison. They were deemed a serious threat to our family, and their prison sentences ensured that they would be kept away from society. Soon, the news of their arrest and conviction reverberated nationally, becoming major news. In addition to serving as a warning to those who believed they could commit such atrocities without facing justice, it was a triumph of justice and a reminder that no one is above the law. While the legal system continued to process the consequences of their crimes, Liza, Edward, and I focused on healing and rebuilding our lives. But due to Janet and Harry's betrayal, it would not be easy to forget, and Edward was going through an especially difficult time. But we remained strong together, supporting each other every step of the way. Our bond grew stronger as we navigated the aftermath of the arrest and worked together to overcome the trauma we had endured. In fact, my brave and resilient daughter showed remarkable strength in the face of adversity. She witnessed firsthand the dark side of human nature but refused to let it define her. With the support of therapy and the unwavering love of her family, she embarked on a journey of healing and self-discovery through art and expression. She found solace and a means to process her emotions, gradually reclaiming her sense of security and trust. Edward, my steadfast husband, stood by our side throughout it all. He played a crucial role in supporting Liza and me, offering unwavering love and understanding. Together, we attended counseling sessions, fostering open and honest communication as we addressed the wounds inflicted by Janet. Edward is a calming presence and an unwavering commitment to our family, providing a solid foundation for our healing. One evening, when we were sitting together in the living room, with heavy hearts but determined, I initiated a conversation about our progress and plans for the future. The room was filled with a mix of emotions, but a sense of optimism permeated the air. "Liza, how have you been feeling lately? You've shown incredible strength through it all." "It hasn't been easy, Mom, but I'm getting there. Art has become my sanctuary, my way of expressing and releasing the pain. And with therapy, I'm learning to reframe my perspective and rebuild my trust in others." "We're so proud of you, Liza. Your resilience inspires us every day. We're here for you, always." "That's right, sweetheart. We're in this together, and we'll continue to support and uplift each other as we move forward. We've come a long way. And we have an even brighter future ahead. Thank you both. I don't know where I'd be without your love and guidance. We've been through so much, but we've also grown stronger. Now we have a chance to reclaim our lives and make a positive impact." "Definitely, my love. We've weathered the darkest times, but we've emerged with a newfound strength and resilience. We won't let the actions of others define us. Together, we'll create a future filled with love, happiness, and fulfillment. We're a family, and nothing can tear us apart. We've proven that. Let's continue supporting each other, healing, and building the life we deserve. We're stronger than ever, and we'll seize every opportunity that comes our way." The dialogue was filled with a blend of emotions, ranging from the lingering pain of the past to the hopeful anticipation of the future. As we continue our healing journey, we find solace in each other, knowing that together we can overcome any obstacle and create a life filled with love and joy. And there you have it. If you enjoyed it, share the video with a friend and pass on this fascinating story to someone you care about. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Let's go together. Until the next video.